And we're live on Litvak Leadership Live. I'm Sean Litvak, your host. With me today is Sean McElveney, account executive at, oh good, you can't see my pad of paper, Oliver Creative Packaging and Print Solutions, and a friend of mine that can do 440 or 450 push-ups in a day. We're going to talk about that. I'm thinking he's got serious package going on. We might even make him show us his pecs before the show is over. Just A, for the ladies, and B, for the men to say, put your shirt back on, please. You're embarrassing all of us. So we've got one viewer so far, but Sean and I were just talking about, and I got to harangue him. So the thumbnail clip for this show today has a picture of you from, is it literally from 1987?
It's got to be like, mid 90s. It's a long time ago. I want to say maybe 1994, 95.
Wow. If we put up a picture of me from 94, 95, I would have more hair than I have now. Hey, Sari, George, and Kim, what's going on?
Welcome, friends.
What made you suddenly decide? And people, you may hear rain because I'm sitting in a remote office in a remote site, which is another term for my car in a job site. So, Sean, what made you decide all of a sudden, I should make this photo updated?
Eric Bam. Just joshing me about how young I look, and how can I blame him? But it was something I've wanted to change for a while. And, it was just one thing that, I didn't want to just take it with my cell phone. I wanted a professional photographer to take it. And just finding the time to do that and get my friend who is a professional photographer, Wayne Calabrese, Calabrese Studio here in Rochester.
Okay.
I traded him a bottle of bourbon, and he took some headshots, and he sent them over to me, and I changed my profile pic, all on the recommendation and encouragement from Eric Bam.
So now our friend Eric also recommends that your profile pic should be consistent across all social media. Does that mean your Facebook picture is about to change? Because that one looks fairly current.
That one is about 4 weeks old. So, no, I don't know that I'm going to change it across all of those. I think each one should be different. What I think is important, though, on all your social media platforms is to have the same, tag, same name, so people can find you easily.
So you're Sean McElveney on all of them?
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so you live in New York State. Where in New York State do you live?
Fairport, New York, which is a suburb of Rochester, which is western side of the state, in between Buffalo and Syracuse.
Yeah, I was going to say Rochester's near Syracuse, so it gets very, very cold there, and you get lots and lots of snow, if I'm not mistaken. Yes,
which is great. If it's going to be that cold, I want snow. Growing up here as a kid, it was wonderful. There were always snow forts. There was always, sledding. I'm a skier. I used to be a skater until I hurt my knee, but, I love the winter. If it's going to be cold, but might as well, have snow and enjoy it.
So I've got to ask you, because I realized as I was preparing for this conversation today, you and I had a conversation several weeks back, but I don't think that I asked you this question. When the lockdown started, the cases of the virus started rising, in New York, the state of New York got hit really hard, much harder than other areas of the country. I remember as things started slowing down and going on lockdown in the Kentucky, Southern Indiana area where I live. I mean, what was it like in New York? I just think of it as like this hammer coming down. I mean, tell us about that.
So, thanks to, worldwide media, we started hearing about the virus, early November. And not thinking much of it because, if it's not here, if it's not impacting, me right now in this spot, it's really outside our perception.
Right.
So, it was in the back of my mind. My wife's parents are older and they're at the high risk category.
Yeah.
And, it was in the back of my mind. Most of my business is in the New York City metropolitan area. So I would travel to New York City.
To ask about this.
Yeah. So I would travel to New York City, at least twice a month for 2 or 3 days, visit clients, go over, potential projects, new projects, current projects. And, I'm always careful because, I ride the subways, you're in cabs, you're in Ubers, you're walking down the street, and just in and out of buildings all day long. So, went through the holidays, still always in my mind. It really wasn't until I went back in February. And the last time I was in New York City was February 4th through the 6th.
Okay.
And, it started to become more prevalent in the States, especially in New York, as you mentioned. And, I had customers in the Chinatown area that I didn't go down there. I'm like, and, I didn't ride the subway that trip. I walked a lot more, and I think I only took Ubers to and from the airport.
Wow.
So it was on my mind, and I left there on the 6th, and I had a sales meeting at our headquarters in Cleveland on the 24th, and that was kind of the last time I've traveled.
Okay.
And then everything shut down pretty much in March up here.
Right.
And especially, March 16th, 17th, I think whatever that Monday was, and things came to a standstill.
Yeah, I mean, everything shut down.
One of my top customers, before there was even a case in New York City, they closed their offices in February 26th or whatever.
Wow.
They've been remote since then.
Wow.
And, they were like, well, maybe we'll be back in September. And then late July, they said, yeah, we won't be back in our office until January.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's pretty much what I'm, if you're not in the manufacturing world, people are working remote. Well, thank you for explaining that to me, because I'd never really talked to anyone about that. But now you guys are a manufacturer and you all provide fulfillment services. So how has your company been hit? And because obviously you're still needing to provide the services and the product that you make. Are your plants up and running?
So first of all, I love my company. They're absolutely amazing. I love what I do. As you mentioned, it's Oliver Printing and Packaging. And the reason I'm wearing this T-shirt is you're kind of lucky you got me today, Sean.
Okay.
The company's, let's see, started in 1924. We're the 4th generation privately owned company.
Okay.
And our success has been taking care of our customers. And one of the nice things that we do for our customers since 1980, this would have been the 40th year, we throw a customer appreciation clam bake on the 4th Thursday in September every year.
Oh.
So this is the clam bake T-shirt from last year. This is the clam bake invitation that went with it. Watch carefully.
Ooh, you
So,
guys are so slick.
How about that? So here's a blast from the past. This is from 2013. Now watch this carefully. See if I can do this in reverse. So ready? This is an invitation. Black, green, has all the pertinent information. Now let's see if I can do this carefully.
Now it's off camera.
This is kind of challenging. Now it's black and orange. But if you're still not happy with that, so we can do this, hold on.
It's still black and orange.
Still black and orange.
Don't quit your day job and go into magic.
Black
Black and yellow. Look at you.
And hold on, one more. Green and orange.
Look at you.
So, so we have guys on staff that just design this stuff. So back to your question. So we do, we'll do marketing collateral. We'll print brochures. We'll print folding cartons that, if you have a product and say, hey, I want to put this in a carton and put it on a shelf, we will design a physical carton to hold your product, and it goes on a shelf.
And it just amazes me, all the businesses in the world. Oh, my Lord. Okay, go on.
So one of the best things about us is we also do pharmaceutical and food packaging. So that qualified us as an essential company. Yeah, so we never shut down during the pandemic. We did have a little bit of a slowdown. Our marketing material kind of dwindled to pretty much nothing because nobody was advertising. We do higher ed, we do a lot of fashion and beauty brands, and the retail and nonprofit higher ed section, they just shut everything down. But it was the fancy packaging that people needed that kept us solvent. And we actually grew. We installed new equipment during the pandemic, and we're continuing to grow. So we're kind of an exception.
Yeah, and in the industry that I'm in, the janitorial industry, we had some attrition due to people in office buildings not going in. But then we had disinfection services and everyone, I'm going to use the phrase doubling up on cleaning by adding disinfection, not necessarily doubling up, but you understand. I mean, there's a lot of businesses that are just rocking right now, while others are still scratching their head saying, okay, how do I figure this out? So when you guys do the marketing collateral, is that mainly, like you said, for education, the fashion industry? Because, as a salesperson, I've been handed at times a stack of marketing material to say, here, go hand these out to people. And I think to myself, oh, it's 1987 all over again. So, do you guys actually do that for salespeople? Or is it just fashion? And
we do. So I've been with Oliver for just over 9 years. Prior to that, I was with another company here in Rochester for 22 years. And all they did was that type of commercial printing. No packaging. It was all that sales material. And the sales and the projects kept going in a downward direction, and there was no reinvestment. So I looked to make a move to Oliver. And the one thing I noticed as soon as I got to Oliver, yes, they were doing similar work in addition to the packaging, but the marketing collateral was much more creative. It was much higher end. It had a lot more embellishments. It was much more engaging. And after I was there for, the first 6 months, it became crystal clear. The customers that were coming to Oliver were coming to Oliver because they could do the nicer stuff. It was more engaging. They added things to these to make them, more interactive. But I took all my customers from the other company when I left.
So it's not so much about, and this isn't a dig, but it's like a big push in my industry. So much about sustainability and recycling, because if you're saying you've got lots of embellishments and higher quality, it's not like you're using previously sourced pulp.
We are.
Oh, you are?
Oh, and you touched on a key trend right now, and I don't think it's a trend. I think this is here to stay. all of our customers are asking for sustainable solutions.
Right.
And two of my largest customers will not put a lamination on any of their projects, because as soon as you do, it makes that project unrecyclable.
Right.
So,
and
but they could
that's
do
what I thought you were talking about with embellishments.
no, but they may add extra colors.
Okay.
They may use a premium paper. They might put a foil stamp on there that can be recycled.
Oh.
But remember this?
Yeah.
We did all the programs for all the shows.
Look at you.
So and you might think this is not, it's just a printed piece, but it's oversized, so it's larger, makes a bigger impact. Other embellishments, people might use multiple kinds of paper.
Okay.
This gray is actually the color of the paper. The white is a foil stamp.
And foil is recyclable.
Yep, they can take the foil out in the depulping process.
Got it.
Or in the de-inking process.
So Kim Hubbs, previous guest on Litvak Leadership Live, wants to know, what's the most exciting or most enjoyable customer success story you have?
Oh, wow. It's that's a tough one, Kim, and it's gonna go back to my previous company. Although I've had a tremendous amount of success at, Oliver, and great customers. But it's actually to a customer I don't work with anymore. The Fashion Institute of Technology, FIT, in New York City. So,
yeah. Or
and the only reason is they are, lowest bid wins no matter what. Doesn't depend on quality, low bid wins. So at my previous company, I had an opportunity to bid on their alumni magazine. And I knew the designer who was working on it. And he said, Sean, you're a perfect fit. Showed me the current magazine. Now, this is FIT, right? Fashion Institute.
Right. You were a perfect fit for fit. Sorry, yes. It was just hanging there. I had to say.
Well, Oliver Printing, we should do Oliver Printing.
Right. Exactly.
Yes. So anyways, FIT, they showed me the current magazine.
Right.
And it was like 24 pages. It was an odd size. It was big. It was black and white on the thinnest, magazine coated see-through paper you could imagine.
And it is not a cheap school, because I know that because my daughter went to SCAD for a year, and when she was applying, it was either SCAD or FIT. So
that's because you're out of state. FIT is a SUNY school, actually. Nobody knows that. It's a state school.
Okay.
So anyways, they said this is all we can afford. So I looked at it, and I'm looking at it, and the size just wasn't good. And I said, can we change the size just a little bit? I took a ½ inch off one dimension and a ½ inch off the other dimension. And all of a sudden, now instead of 24 pages, they have 32. Instead of black and white, they have full color. Instead of this cheap paper, they have 100% recycled sustainable paper that prints like a dream for less money.
Oh, it's a win for everyone, because it was a huge sale too.
It was a contract. I had it for 40 years, and I actually sold it for the year after I left for the previous company. But it won CASE Awards, which is the college, the Oscar, if you will, the whole first year. So they were thrilled. It was huge success. Everyone was happy. It was, I did it the next, like I said, 4 years. And now it's just, they've gone so low that, it's just not in our range anymore. But they're not using the same materials. So, it's not looking as good, but they're working with their budget, which that's okay. The budget is always part of it. It's not all of it, but it's part of it.
Yeah, it's funny because whenever I ask, and I'm sure you ask the same question, how is the decision going to be made? And, people start talking about things and then they don't mention price at all sometimes. And you go, oh, so money is no object. Oh, no, price is very important. It's like, okay, well, on your scale of important, where does it land? Because if you're telling me you want all this stuff, but you're giving it to the low bid, you really don't care. Do you ever say that to people?
I do. And another question I started asking is, whose decision is it?
Yeah.
But in the FIT case, it was an RFP. I knew it wasn't it went out to the world probably, sure. But it wasn't a major, it wasn't going to take a lot of time to put into this RFP. It was more of an emotional thing. I knew it was a long shot. And, they loved our samples. They loved our proposal. I sent the proposal over via Hippo video. They were just overwhelmed. They said, hey, I can't believe you did that. And, when they did send me the note saying, hey, we had to go with the lowest bidder, it wasn't you guys, but you're definitely in the mix for future work. Maybe more high profile. They sent it
to you on a Hippo video.
They did not. They just sent the standard email, but.
So hey, everyone who's watching, why don't you come up with some questions for Sean? I've got the question that's burning on everyone's mind, so I'm going to ask this one. But why don't you engage a little bit and come up with some questions, and I'll throw them up there. So here's my question, Sean. We've been on multiple calls together, but I don't remember the genesis of let's do 450 push-ups. So how have you gotten to that point? And where did you start?
So, we're all getting older, and I've always been kind of a fit, athletic person. About 4.5 years ago, my left knee just wasn't working that well, and it was just constant pain. And I finally went to the doctor. And said, well, yeah, your PCL is completely gone on the inside of your knee. There's nothing we can do unless it's a full knee replacement. I said, well, wow. I'm not in that much pain if I don't use it. So I couldn't work out for a while. And, going to New York City, I did walk probably 25,000 steps a day each time, but, I also had some nice meals, and travel takes a lot out of you. So I wasn't working out. I wasn't in the best shape. I wasn't happy. I used to be a youth wrestling coach for our local program in town. I'm now on the varsity booster club for the school wrestling team, which isn't going to happen this year. But I said, I got to, we're in COVID, I'm working my tail off. I'm working harder than I ever have. And I'm enjoying it. But I'm going to say, what did I do during this time? I wasn't going to be like, oh, well, you know what? I can drink 40 beers. That's not, not that I do. But, I didn't want that, oh, you had this, and, I didn't want to,
It's not a productivity thing.
No. So, one of the former head coach of our youth wrestling team, good friend of mine, Ray Chase, who also has a young wrestler. I think he's 13 now. But, always encouraging, always, positive. He said to his son, it's like, Trey, if you want to get bigger, stronger, just do some push-ups. While you're sitting there watching TV, when the commercial comes on, do 10.
Yeah, so, stop and do 10.
I wasn't I was not in a condition I was happy with. So it's like, what, I'm going to take Ray's advice. And, from the hours of 8 in the morning to 6 at night, the workday, every hour I'm going to do some push-ups. Okay. And it started at 10. And, 10, and I was a guy that any minute, any day, time, I could pump out 25. 10 was tough. And then, the next hour came, another 10. Now I wanted to be at 50 at this point, or actually over 50, but I kind of got stuck at 35 every hour for a while. I'm kind of stuck at 40, and I did 400 yesterday. I've got my journal here. You probably can't see it, but it's filled. I keep track of all of them.
So do you set an alarm on your phone to remind you every hour?
Nope. No, I start at 8 o'clock. I started 8 o'clock, and I can tell you that first set is always tough. And when that hour comes up, it's tough. And I did it intentionally because I could do 400 in probably an hour, resting, and it would take the whole hour. But it's a little tougher to do it the way I'm doing it, and I wanted to develop some discipline, and so it's like, hey, here's the hour, I got to do it. I did it at like 2:50 right before we joined. I was hoping I was going to be all settled down by the time we started, but
I'll settle down. So what, you got the quiver going on?
It's tough, but so I'll tell you this. So I went for my yearly physical probably a month ago, and I walked in and the doctor's like, "Did you lose weight? You look more fit. Everything going okay?" I said, "Yep." And then he's pulling up the chart. Oh, blood pressure is perfect. Cholesterol is fantastic. Blood work's good. All this is good. Your weight is perfect. Everything is. What are you doing? I said, "Well, I'm doing, I don't know, 300 some push-ups a day and drinking a gallon of water." Thank you to our good friend Kara Bariski, Kendrick Home, who gave me that suggestion. But he goes, "Man, I wish all my patients could be like this." I was in and out of there in like 20 minutes. He goes, "Everything's good. You're the easiest guy I'm going to have probably in the next 3 months. Everyone else has put on 10, 20 pounds. You've lost 10 pounds."
Yeah. Most people have gotten much larger. It amazes me how some people. Well, I don't know. I've heard that at any given time, I think the statistic is 70% of those working from home are either drinking or watching porn. You obviously have not been doing either.
No, you know what? I'm kind of like Randy. End of the day, I'll have a glass of wine or a drink, and it's not every night.
No.
But,
if I were to say that I did not have alcohol on occasion, I would be being a hypocrite. But I'm not an every night guy. I can't function that way anymore.
No. It's maybe twice a week. Maybe 3 times at the most, but. It's enough where I can't do the 75-day challenge because I can't give that up.
Yeah, I started the 75-day challenge, and then I realized that I'm punting the 75-day challenge to the start of February. That's what I think I'm going to do because it's too much stuff going on at home to do it. But hey, I got another question. Looking at your Facebook, since no one else has posted a question, I will continue on my list of questions. Are you a beef jerky connoisseur?
No, why do you ask?
Well, on September 11th, one of your friends on Facebook, there was a beef jerky giveaway to get like a year's worth of beef jerky, and they tagged you on the photo, which made me think that you had all this beef jerky knowledge.
No, what? Do you remember who it was?
No.
Because it might have been one of my prospects that I've been working with.
Okay.
That is who has some amazing product. It's grass-fed beef jerky. He's out in Colorado, I can't remember the name of it right now. But I saw that post. I'm like, I got to jump on that. He hasn't resolved his packaging yet, but the product is phenomenal. But
good beef jerky is always an important thing. All right, so we've gone 15 seconds shy of 30 minutes. It's been lively. It's been interesting. I now know your fitness secrets and more about the print industry than I ever thought I would know, and New York. So as I turn it over to you for the last few minutes, what impression do you want to leave people with to propel them into the finish of the week?
Oh, hey, this week has been phenomenal. Even if it hasn't been your best week, there are a day and a half left. Do everything you can to make it your best day ever. There's a lot of things going on in the country right now that are not positive, but I have to say 95% of that is outside our control. So think about what you can do what you do best, and put all that stuff out of your mind, because you're not going to change anything there. So just do what you do, be strong, and believe in yourself, and you'll hit your goal.
Sounds like consistency and keep moving forward. Do what you do. But I love it. It's
do what you do better, and be positive. 90% of your success is attitude. Just be positive. I mean, it's going to be a good day. And you could walk out the door and get in a car crash, but it's going to happen. But just laugh at it. You're okay unless you're dead, and then still you're okay because it's over. But be positive. Think that you're going to get that next sale. Think that you're going to get an A on that paper if you're in college. You're going to ace that test. You're going to ace that next meeting. You're going to nail that proposal. And I think Randy Chafee said it last night, or I know he said it a bunch of times. Act like you already have the sale.
Yes.
We're doing business together.
Yes. And you do that not only to bring the sale to fruition and to not display fear to the prospect, but it's an attitude of expectation in one's life, and for your coworkers to see you're not chasing your tail, you're walking in expectancy.
Yeah, and the other thing is, our success has been because we do a good job and we treat customers with respect, and we help them at the end of the day. And that's really, we're not in it to, I need your business cards. Can you send me your little brochure? I need these 4, cartons. You got to send that to me. I need it. That they don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care what I need. They only care about what's on their desk and how they're going to get that off their desk and succeed. So how can I help you look good to your boss?
How are you going to solve their problem so they can focus on something else?
Yeah, it's simple. It's really simple. People make it complicated, but it's simple.
Cool. All right, Sean, thank you so much. I so appreciate you joining us today on Litvak Leadership Live. Everyone who tuned in, appreciate all of you too. But Sean, this was fun. This was great. It went so fast. We will do it again in the future. Thank you.
I would love to. Next time I will wear a button-down shirt.
Ooh-hoo. Yeah.
Since there's no plan back.
Shirt, but the boring white undershirt today. So, all right, everyone, be blessed.
All right. Thank you.